Hi, it's Sam Sampson with Ironwood Design Group, founding principal. We're sitting here with Chris Lazarek this morning to talk about master planning.
Yes, hi. I am the studio director here at Ironwood. I've been here for about 6 years, and we're here to talk about master planning, one of my favorite parts of the design process.
So one of the benefits of having a landscape architect engaged in the master planning phase of the project is that we bring a unique perspective. We're really looking at how to bridge the gap between the pedestrian experience, the vehicular experience, as Chris was saying, the land, the use of the land, and how the architecture engages with it. So we're really looking at all those elements when we're master planning and trying to come to the best solution. What's going to create the best sense of place? What's the best use of land? How does the built environment and the natural environment engage, and how do those two mesh up?
Yeah, I think that the steps to a master plan, and master plan can be kind of vague, but there's really steps involved in what the master plan process is. As I mentioned earlier, that you have an inventory, and that's a list of all the unique features that you can work with within a project scope. There's the analysis of how you can use that to benefit the program. That is the next step as far as setting the client goals, end user goals, how they fit within the municipality's goals and formwork via code. And then once you establish those, you start to look at how you can frame and work with the user's experience. And it really comes from creating a sense of arrival, how that space is experienced from one space to the next, how it can evolve and grow, as a master plan is often, like I said, a framework. It is built to expand and to change as the needs of the users change. So when we talk about the term master planning, it can be kind of vague, and what the importance of a master plan is all the steps that are involved in creating a master plan. We had mentioned that it's a framework, a dynamic framework that changes as the needs of the end user evolve. And the steps involved in that are your inventory, which is taking the unique features of the land. As landscape architects, we are adept at identifying those and how we can use those features and to intermingle them with the built environment. The analysis is how is that site impacted by the surrounding environments, whether that's adjacent properties, whether it's traffic, demographics, cultural impacts, looking at the code, which is the framework set forth by the local municipality, and building within those regulations, and creating helping to form a program for the project, what the goals of the client, what the goals of the end user should be, and how we can assist in getting the best quality product put forth. From your sense of arrival to the framing of additional spaces for use, whether they're compatible with buildings, whether they're not, whether it should be natural, whether it should be built, and how those functions of space intertwine is really one of the important aspects of master planning.
Yep. Yeah, I would say another thing that you're hitting on, Chris, is like just kind of identifying the scale of projects. Like what size architecture is appropriate for a space? Who's in that space? So is it a pedestrian space? Is it a small space? And so looking at it like how this hierarchy kind of evolves on the property itself, and the massing of architecture, the massing of the garden, and how those rooms are kind of developed and how those spaces develop. So what's really cool about master planning is you're looking at things from a really high level, like a large scale, but you're even thinking about things down to a very small and intimate scale of how we're creating spaces. So there's a wide range of how this kind of articulates and how it works itself out.
And oftentimes when we do master plans, we are working within the framework of another master plan that was done that's guiding a 20 or 40-year plan. And our project sites tend to be, some are smaller and some are larger. It just depends on the project, but oftentimes they're guided by a master plan that was set forth. And having the ability to work within one of those master plans and adapting our site to fit our needs and our clients' needs is really one of the fun processes of design.
So a recent example of a master plan community that we've worked on is Waterside. It's a project off of Lake Lanier. It was an underutilized piece of property that had been kind of nothing had been done with it for some time. There's some municipal water quality distribution centers there, and then several single-family properties. So we looked at it from a master planning standpoint, looked at it, and we really approached it from a neo-urbanism approach where we're creating a city core, a little village center, and then different types of scales of residential products. So mixed. So it's really a mixed-use development with multifamily townhomes, and so you go from a very dense product to more of a traditional residential scale project.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point about this project. One of the things that got me excited was the location on Lake Lanier. It's at the gateway to Lake Lanier Islands, so it sets as that space that you pass by, which is unique to us because it's the only way on and off of that island and all the amenities that are there.
Another project that we have worked on recently is Azelia Village. It's a little bit different type of project. It's a mixed-use project near Coolray Field in North Atlanta. It has kind of two uses on it. It's got some multifamily, traditional garden-style, mid-rise multifamily product that's set in kind of a serene, like wooded environment. We also have some townhomes and traditional single-family product on that project with a small piece of retail. The project's pretty unique in that we're working around a lot of difficult features. We're working around a colonial pipeline easement, which is the natural gas and petroleum pipeline that runs through the area. There's several utility corridors that run through there, which make it difficult for us in how we're going to arrange the site around these elements. So we also have creeks and lakes and natural features that we have to work around. So you kind of get all these elements as programming. You kind of have to figure out how to work through all of these in a way that makes sense, that creates a sense of arrival, that creates a sense of place, gives us opportunities for amenities. So,
yeah, and that's a project you bring up at Azelia Village that we are now in the process of completing construction documents on 2 different phases of that project. And as you mentioned, part of our inventory and analysis on this project was looking at the easements that crisscross this project and the natural features that we could use, the lakes, the creeks, the wetlands, really allowed us to take advantage on some of that placemaking, especially with the amenity, the terraced amenity that looks down and takes advantage of the views, the single family amenity that sits on the pond or the lake. Actually, it's rather big, in maximizing the natural and taking some of those easements and making them a creative attraction, something that we could use from a planting standpoint, mm-hmm. and we can hide that and make them look like they belong.
Yeah, I always like I like how we take, I don't know, a lot of people say take lemons and make lemonade, but I love how we take these utility corridors, which were a problem, they're actually something that make the site difficult, and we were able to take them and turn them into and amenitize them, where we're creating these large greenways and open spaces and creating cool trail systems through there, and pollinator gardens and wildflower gardens, all this stuff that had they not been there, we probably wouldn't have designed that in. And so just looking at that, it kind of creates a whole new opportunity and approach of how we approach the design.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'd love to help you with your next master planning project. You can see examples of that at ironwooddg.com, and we look forward to talking to you.